Gaming in 2026 is broken, and YouTube is only making it worse. Today, I wanted to do an unscripted deep dive into what gaming has become in the modern day. As someone who's only just made a gaming YouTube channel and is really interested in game design, it's a big topic for me. And I really do think that gaming is heading down a really bad path. The modern strategy of most gaming companies, I think we can all agree, things like Ubisoft, is to, lower staff, put down on cost, make sure they're spending as little as possible on games that they have a $200 million budget because apparently, budget's tight because companies don't understand what people actually want. And instead, they want to focus on the things that they think are good from a business point of view. What does that mean for us? Well, it means everything has to be online in some form. There's more microtransactions in Fortnite than there are books in a library. Everything has to be online. Everything has to make money. Nothing can be because companies actually enjoy what they do. Games have to be about making money from day one. Think about games like High Guard that got shut down after like 30 days because it didn't even give itself enough time to develop a fan base. And then the company turned around and went, clearly none of you like it, clearly none of you want it, even though you've told us the issues, so we're just going to close this game, we're going to try again. Yeah, that's fine with everyone. And realistically, many people, like myself, want to turn to fresher, tighter, single-player experiences that just let you enjoy games for what they are and what they should be, because companies can't be trusted to make things multiplayer. But sadly for them, repetition has to be king. If it worked once, it's got to work, and it's clearly what everyone wants because we're totally receptive to it, and most games don't lose half their fan base after day one for no reason. So what do? They stick us with loot boxes and day one DLC, and they shove more stuff down our throats that we don't own and think, yes, they're happy. They've got to be happy because we've told them to be. What does that make us as gamers do? Well, it makes us look for indie developers or for new companies or companies that have basically no games to their name, because they'll have ideas that actually are interesting, exciting, that people actually want to talk about and want to be a part of, because they're not some corporate company that's treating a video game like a business portfolio. I mean, it's happened time and time again. You've got games like Schedule 1 or Stardew Valley made by one single person who make millions just because people actually get something that they want and something that they're interested in. As much as people hate it for it, GTA 6, that is a passion project of Rockstar's. I mean, if anyone's been looking at the news recently, it was revealed that just one job in Rockstar for GTA 6 was to make procedurally generated blast destruction. I mean, come on, what game that Ubisoft made, or that Blizzard made, or that Bethesda made would have that much detail and that much clear enjoyment for their craft? It's clear that these companies just beat their employees into submission like they're some hog in an AI machine and totally not actual real people with real thoughts on what could make an actual good video game. I mean, if we think about more recently, there was Crimson Desert that came out. It was revealed that Pearl Abyss actually has a really, really bad company layout. It's more like an inverted pyramid where there's more people higher up in the company than lower down in the company. And that game got a lot of mixed reviews, but it's clearly made with passion by the people who were actually there, even the small team by comparison to what it should have. And sure, it did lead to a lot of setbacks for the game. Like, I bet most of you didn't know that the game was actually originally going to have a better story than what it does now, where you were going to overthrow a false king and you were going to take the throne and fix the world. Sounds so much better than spending 6 hours being an errand boy for some random people in a village. But yet that game, if you get through that part, is still one of the most beloved games of recent history. Same with Resident Evil 9. All that game was is then listening to what the player base wanted. They wanted more clarity, they wanted characters to come back, and that's what they did. I mean, it's literally 50-50 between a new character that they clearly want to set up story and them listening to the player base and giving people Leon back. That's what people want. That's all that gamers have been asking for. And if you stick with that, then realistically it makes sense that you'd be able to win back all and more of what you put into a game really, really quickly. But for some reason, modern game companies decide that's not important. Mainly because their parent companies, like how Xbox likes buying up every single developer under the sun, are all in on things like subscription services and AI models, and really want to push this narrative that people will own nothing and be happy. The only thing is, they sort of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit. I mean, if we talk about AI, a thing that Xbox and a lot of other massive companies are talking about and wanting to introduce into their games, especially Clair Obscur 33, even the small bit that it used in its game, just for some placeholder posters, was so bad for people that they had to take Game of the Year from it. even when they fixed that issue. And that's ultimately because of the companies themselves. I mean, the more AI we lean into in a world that's not yet ready for it, the less accessible gaming becomes, because the more RAM prices go up and the more social outcry that happens as a result of it. All the while, we don't actually receive anything good for it. There was a study that came out that showed that most AI models, the more advanced they become, say the new version of ChatGPT, the more stuff that they tend to make up or just infer off of complete nonsense. But realistically, if we want to talk about what's wrong with gaming in modern days, we only really need to look at 3 companies. That's Valve, PlayStation, and Xbox. All for very different reasons, mind you. But still, we can get a good look into what gaming is just by looking at those companies. Let's start with Xbox, the more mixed of the bunch. Xbox Game Pass pricing increased 50% in just 1 year. That is more than it ever has, and it's getting to a point where people are not wanting to pay that much, or they're just going to lower tiers. And it's affecting people's ability to play games and their enjoyment of games because of other financial reasons. I mean, that was Xbox's whole thing, accessibility and availability on a large scale to subside any issues that they may have because of the lack of profits. And yet they turn around because of things like AI and they go, it's not sustainable. Then they get rid of management, get some new people in and hope that they can fix it. But realistically, the people who come in, the new one in charge, doesn't even know about games. On top of that, Xbox buys up a bunch of different games companies like Bethesda, and then pivoting off things like Skyrim that are still played 10, 15 years later, however long Skyrim has been out for. And they make games like Starfield, who had to wait a year and a half to decide that being able to free roam in space in your spaceship was a good idea in their space game. But I think, honestly, Xbox and their ideas could take up an entire video by themselves. We'll move on to PlayStation next. PlayStation just recently made headlines because they want to remove themselves from the PC market as an attempt to save PlayStation 5 Pro and PlayStation 6 sales in the future. All of this comes at the same time as it's revealed that PlayStation is actually considering releasing the PS6 until like 2028 or 2029, which is completely against their 7-year life of each console that they've had. All just because AI and RAM usage makes it impossible. But ultimately this is because Sony and PlayStation, for some reason, can't understand that people don't want to be tied down to console ecosystems anymore. The console wars sort of died out. They don't need to exist anymore. I mean, it was recently shown that around 50% of gaming in total is done on mobile because it's just easier to access. It doesn't cost 600 quid to buy a console that doesn't let you play half the games that things like Steam do, just because some company wants control over what you can and can't do with their hardware. On top of that, while Sony acts like their games and their ecosystem is to aid in the experience of gamers, they actively shut down companies like Bluepoint after forcing them to do live service games that people don't want. When that wasn't even the point of Bluepoint. The whole idea was to make remasters of games and to hype up Sony's already massive library, which they did way too many times with The Last of Us, but in small chunks is something that people want. Demon's Souls, the remake for that, went really, really well. I think that ultimately Sony's issues can be summed up into one game, and that is the live-action Horizon game that's going to be coming out at some point soon. Because the whole point of this game is to capitalize on the success of games like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, and make some character shooter 5v5 game that you don't really need and doesn't really work because it's canon in the environment and in the world. Aloy is meant to be this amazing, I've got special technology and am part of the original humans by DNA. But some of these characters are clearly much stronger, much better than Aloy is. It's like they're ruining their entire franchise and the fanbase just because they think that that's what gaming is, rather than listening to what people actually want gaming to be. Now, finally, Valve. Valve is on this list for a very, very different reason. Other than their backhanded ways of dealing with people selling games on their store and the price markups they can get and the clauses that they have so that Steam has to always be the price. You can't make Steam price out of line with any of the price in any other store. Steam had lawsuits against it because it was a monopoly, when realistically, if you look at how many people use Steam as compared to the Epic Games Store or the Ubisoft Play thing, whatever it is, it's like 20 times more. I mean, there's like 300 million people using Steam a year. Of course, it's going to be some sort of monopoly. It's not. It just seems that way because there's no good contenders. Because all Steam does is turn around and go, oh, you want more games? Okay, we'll give you some sales. Do you want more sales? Week later, sales end. So how about some more sales? Yeah? Like, that's what you do. But the government and larger companies are just upset that Steam isn't some big corporation owned by like BlackRock or something. So they tell them off and they put them through the courts just to teach them a lesson. And that's the problem with gaming. It's not anything to do with what people want. It's not anything to do with what it should be and or what trends say that were better in the past and what people actually want. It's all just to do with what can make a good portfolio, their income for the people at the very, very top. That isn't to say that all of gaming in 2026 is in this really, really bad state. There are some games that are a light at the end of the tunnel. Think the new James Bond game that's coming out this year, the new Lego Batman game that's coming out this year, that's a mix of the Arkham games and the actual tone of the Lego games, or even GTA 6 that I've already talked about. The only thing is, if these games fail, then I think gaming in a sense might fail too. That's because if players think that they want something tighter, something newer, and then when those things come out and we see that they are objectively those things, if they don't do good, then companies may rather blindly decide that they were in the right all along, and clearly that's all that people want, when realistically it's because some people are just hooked on these systems. I mean, there's an entire generation of people that I'm not too far away from that have been hooked on gambling all their lives because of things in gaming and different practices that companies want just because monetary value is all value in games. That's probably why for a lot of people the classics are always better, even if they are objectively worse, and people know they're objectively worse because they are just tighter experiences that these companies made as passion projects to show who they are as a company and what they could be. So for some people, trying to hope that games will be successful is almost like you're some drug addict who keeps going back to your dealer and they keep giving you the bad stuff just to feed your addiction. I mean, it may as well be the same thing. But realistically, that's why I made a gaming channel in the first place. I mean, gaming has always been a big part of my life, of course, otherwise I wouldn't be here making a channel and talking about the state of gaming now. I would have no authority. But I want gaming to be that community that it once was. Realistically, that's what it should be. And that's what it deserves to be for the people who give their time and energy to games and want to just enjoy these worlds and enjoy these narratives and enjoy the art that comes along with it. So, before we go on to the YouTube side of all this, I have one single question for anyone watching. What do you wish gaming could be? What do you wish that gaming could be on YouTube? Is there any things in particular that you would want to see? Because that's all I want. I want gaming to be a community of people that can enjoy the things that they want to enjoy, without having to be scared that an algorithm is going to all of a sudden send them some random video of some guy who's made 10 grand from doing AI shorts and you should feel bad about yourself for liking gaming. I want to know if people have areas of gaming that they like that they think have been underappreciated by people online and not getting the light that they deserve. And I want to know what people want gaming to be and the sort of environment that people will want to nurture themselves and enjoy themselves in and just generally grow in alongside the next generation of games and the modern day equivalents of the things we all enjoy so much. Because realistically, it just gets harder and harder, at least for me, to want to play games to the point where for a couple of years, as I was finishing college, that I just stopped playing them. I just didn't care. Still enjoyed games and I still want to play them, but it just didn't feel rewarding. It didn't feel like there was a good reason why I should do and why I should give my time to these companies that clearly don't respect the fact that I'm just trying to enjoy what is essentially an art form and just give some time to something that has been such a big part of my life. But ultimately, that's what brings me to the YouTube side of all this. It's a scary time to start a YouTube channel, I'd say. And that comes down to two main factors, really. That's YouTube's push on AI and YouTube punishing people for having an audience. But what do I mean by that exactly? Well, there's been multiple cases now of people having their YouTube channels taken down because the YouTube AI decides that they were connected to some random channel that was uploading really inappropriate and totally not connected to them videos, but for some reason, because of a similar keyword or a similar name, YouTube decides it was their fault. So what do? They nuke people's jobs and say, you can do one because you were harassing people or you were promoting violence. When these people could have just been making, I don't know, Pokemon videos or even just Roblox videos for kids. Like, it's just not a good time And then on the flip side of that, you've got YouTube's algorithm suggesting random channels with topics that people don't care about just because YouTube wants to broaden people's searches to try and hook them on as much of YouTube's content as possible, so people don't want to go to other platforms like TikTok and Instagram. But as a result, it means that people can't get any information or any time with the hobbies that they like, which obviously, for the sake of this video, is gaming. Subscriptions may as well not exist on the platform. I mean, when was the last time you got a homepage full of just your subscriptions and just videos that you've actively been watching in the past and that you literally just finished watching? YouTube's algorithm do not care who you put your time in with, as long as they get your attention. Even more reason why I'm trying to see what people want from gaming, and why I'm trying to bolster that community, and why in the future that's hopefully what I'll be doing if this YouTube channel goes well in any way, shape or form, which my Crimson Desert videos have been doing pretty good. So if you have watched either of those or any video in general of mine, thank you. Even more so now, that's something that I'm happy about, because YouTube is punishing people for building an audience if that audience isn't willing to grow with a creator and isn't willing to try anything new, or the gaming channels try a new genre of game. Even though realistically, if you're watching a creator, at least for me, you want to see the things that they're interested in because you want to see if you might enjoy it. If you've liked this person and their personality, then you want to know what they're interested in and you want to grow with it. But realistically, people have to choose over staying true to their audience or gambling it all on a new game with the intent of actually being able to stay on YouTube, because otherwise YouTube will basically put you in the shadow realm and just assume that you don't exist, or you must be an AI that's on our platform maliciously because you're not playing the game. I mean, realistically, we can agree that YouTube doesn't even know what its audience wants anymore. That AI has 2% of a clue, but any human being at YouTube, at least in the higher up section, you go, what do people come to YouTube for? They'd go, yeah, because we put a lot of effort into getting them on the platform, rather than because YouTube used to be the place that people would come to have a sense of community and be able to outreach themselves into new aspects of their hobbies. And sadly, the more that platforms like YouTube do this and the gaming companies like Xbox do this, the worse off everyone's going to be for it, and it's going to trickle out into the real world, like with governments pushing age verification on everything that's technology, even though some government officials can't even define the word social media. That happened literally in Australia a few months ago, and that's why not all their laws have been put in place. All of this will come to a head though ultimately, because social acceptability of anything digital will start to die out the more that we rely on AI. And that is going to also, as a result, affect gaming, because companies will be put under a lot more scrutiny, and the companies that do actually care won't be trusted. If they've done it once, they'll do it again. That'll be everyone's mentality. Like with the developers of Flare Obscure 33 or the developers of Crimson Desert. You used AI in some art, we can't trust you because AI is the bad guy. And then on the flip side, the bigger companies and the governments are going to pivot towards AIs, but the ramifications will be that they don't actually understand what that means, and they're just pushing around 50 plus people who do know what they mean. So it's not going to work right. YouTube's going to suffer, people are going to suffer, gaming will suffer. So realistically, that's everything I have to say. I just wanted a video to rant a bit more about the space that I'm coming into and what I think about it as someone who has gaming as such a big, important part of their lives. And hopefully we'll be able to branch out to more things to do with gaming in the future, because I don't want the soul to go from gaming. I don't want the art to go from gaming. I don't want everything to be some DLSS 5 slop people think will get them interested. I just want a community and a connection. So if you have anything that you want to talk about this entire topic, if you think I'm wrong in anything, you agree with me, let me know. If there's anything that you want to see from my channel in the future, let me know, because I do just want to build a community that are all here and will stay here together just for the love of gaming. And, you know, hopefully a few of you at least like who I am. That would be good. But that's it. That's all for now. So I will see you all again on Monday with some more light-hearted, actual gaming-related videos. So thank you for sitting through the past 10-15 minutes of me just ranting about this. And I'll see you all again on Monday. Goodbye.